Hello, friends. It is a snowy day. I don't know if you can see it outside, but we got snow in the night, just super fun and festive. So I am talking to you today about Ryan ONeal, who sadly has passed away at the beautiful age of 82. And I also wanted to chat about his illustrious, decades-long, up and down partnership with Farrah Fawcett. My name is Lydia Nitya, and this is Karma Chameleon, where often I like to read the charts of famous people to better understand our own Bazi Astrology and our own lives. Welcome. So, very interesting couple, and for those of you who remember the ups and downs of their relationship, and both of those people were really well known for their early work. Farrah Fawcett for Charlie's Angels and some of the other pieces that she did after that. But her career never really took off and sustained itself in very much the same way Ryan ONeal, Paper Moon, Love Story, What's Up Doc, one of my favorite movies with Barbara Streisand. But, it's like they didn't have that long, illustrious career where they continued to find big projects and meaningful work. And I don't know if that contributed to the frustrations of their marriage, but they both wound up suffering with cancer. And her cancer struggle, I remember, was brutal. I mean, who wants anal cancer, And she did a lot of alternative therapies trying to beat this thing and ultimately died at the age of 62. When you look back, it's like, wow, you don't realize how long it's been since she died. It was 2009, It already feels like such a long time ago. So anyway, I wanted to just unpack this very interesting combination of people. So Ryan ONeal died on December 8th of this year. And he is born April 20th, 1941 at 9:34 in the morning before daylight savings time. The year of a yin metal, snake, the month of yang water, dragon, the day of yang earth, dog, and the hour of yang fire, snake. So we've got two snakes, first of all. The next thing that I notice is it's a lot of yang, which shows somebody who's very strong, domineering, aggressive, powerful, masculine, right? I've talked about Bruce Willis and Johnny Depp as having very dominant yin charts. And it's very interesting when you see that in a chart for a man, that there is this beautiful, there's the divine masculine and there's the divine feminine. And it does not necessarily relate specific to gender, right? So you can have a man who is extremely yin and he's all man, right? Just as you can have a very strong all yang woman, right? All right, so he was extremely strong in his earth energy, 41%. Good support with fire, 23%. Balanced with what he produces, metal, 23%. Weak with water, 11%. Hardly any wood to really mention. Now, with very little wood is what controls the earth element. And so this is his placement for marriage, for partnership, romantic relationships, and also his career. This speaks very strongly of somebody that has a weak career. And in order to sustain and support that, you'd need to see a luck cycle that includes either a wood element or a trio or semi-trio that's going to surge in wood. So when we look at this chart, it's a chart that's very hot and dry. There's a strong amount of fire and a very heavy amount of earth. And I've often said that when you're looking at Cancer, specifically Cancer blooms, it's energized in a chart that is too hot and dry or too wet and cold. we're always looking for balance. Always looking for balance. Now, if this is the kind of astrology that you're like, whoa, this is different and interesting, please subscribe and hit the bell. I do love to read the charts of celebrities, but I will also be adding to our repertoire of so many New Year videos, including Period 9, which I have referenced many times in the last month, and we'll be dropping that video in the next week or so. So anyway, just want to always remind you, subscribe and leave comments. I love chatting with you. You all are, I'm loving the conversation that we're having. All right, so when we're looking at a person's death, at whatever age they might be, and you always hope that the person lives a long life like he did, that you're looking at what is their current luck cycle and how is that impacting what is happening in his chart. And this was a Yang wood monkey. And so there comes the wood surged in, and this was a luck cycle that started in 2016. So he's kind of almost through this chart, this period of his life. And this was a time of void. And voids are often periods of our life that just seem slow. Things are really hard to get traction on anything. If there's going to be a delay, it's more likely to happen. Or a conflict, or upset, or anything going wrong, it's just more likely. It's a time of life that really begs us to slow down and pay a lot more attention to what's going on, and keeping that big picture perspective, because voids can really pull you down into the mire. So this was a kind of a challenging time for him. You know, that surge in of wood at this time late in his life, I don't know that it was so welcome. And the metal being what he produces, both of these are weakening because he's an earth person, right? And, it shows that since 2016, he was still active. He was still doing things. He was still receiving some measure of revenue or income. But there were a lot of challenges happening as well, and certainly his health being one of them. Now, we remember that this is the luck cycle of a monkey, and he has 2 snakes in his chart. And this has come up so many times in charts that we have read on this channel, that this is where you can see somebody like in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, that she had this exact configuration where you're more likely to lose when it comes to legal battles. But it can also be a reference to some chronic illness, finding out you have cancer, becoming very ill. Again, there's so many factors that come into place. It's not like, oh my gosh, because I know people who have this in their chart. This is where they are. Does it mean you're accident prone? Possibly. Does it mean that you could wind up with chronic illness? Possibly. There's so many factors that you have to look at. It's not so cookie cutter. And see, this is why I say when people post these, oh, if you're a sheep, this is your 2024. I would never put that out there. There's so much more to you than just one animal, right? If you came to me and I'm a doctor and you're telling me that you've got chronic headaches, I'm going to look at your whole body. I'm not just going to look at why you've got headaches, right? You know what I mean? You've got to look at the whole picture to really understand what's happening. So this is a fake follow self. I mean, this is like somebody that's got 40% of their own element. And so, yes, he is very strong. But when we get to this point, there's a number of things happening. So this particular year, or if you look at the day he died, let's look at that. Yin water rabbit, Yang wood rat, that's the month, and the day Yang metal rat. So what do we notice? This is an earth person. There is no earth mentioned here. What supports him? Fire. There is no fire. Okay. So when you have somebody who is already sick, already in the stages of possibly dying, and is elderly, these are screaming factors that this is a dangerous situation for this person to sustain life. Why? Because two things are a contributing factor to death. One, your pattern. The pattern of your chart is broken, okay? And his pattern is the same as his own element. And that's the other contributing factor. If your own element gives up, okay? So here we have all of this water that is in his chart at this time of his death, and wood and metal. When we look at how these things interact with his chart, we see that the rabbit of 2023 combines with the dragon in his month to form a semi-wood trio. Then we take the luck cycle monkey with the two rats, the day and month of when he died, and we get a semi-water trio. I've already mentioned that we've got the snake and the monkey penalty for his health. And then add to that, okay, so now we've really got a lot of cracks in this chart. This is going to be a very fragile situation. The 2023 rabbit has been banging all year up against the dragon in his month, weakening his earth. Then we recognize that that the water and the wood challenge his earth. The luck cycle weakens his earth. The 2023 year of the rabbit weakens his earth. Everything that I just mentioned is pulling down his earth self. There is no mention of metal. There's no mention of earth. And there are so many contributing factors on what drains and weakens him. And then, you know, he's got this very hot, dry chart, and he has the Cancer, and all of these weakening elements come in, and the self collapses and gives away. And blessings to him. He is free from the suffering of his human body, and he is free into the other realms. Blessings to him and his family. Now, tragedy was Farrah Fawcett, right? Somebody dying at 82 is a very different story, because you can say they lived a long, beautiful life, right? And for decades, these two were together, never married. She was with Lee Majors, right? What is the Bionic Man? Is that what I'm thinking of with him? I know there was a Bionic Woman, but I think there was a Bionic Man. Anyway, so, you know, they started out as an affair while she was with Lee Majors. And so they've been together, they were together all this time, and they both were, like, he was there with her at her dying moment. So when we look at this relationship, they both are we're looking for a partner, a friend, an equal. And that's what you're looking for. With two people, there is no aspect to their charts, the way that their animals interact. She's born in the year of Yang Fire Dog, the month of Yin Metal Ox, the day of Yang Water Rat, and the hour of Yang Earth Monkey. And you look at this, it's like you're looking at her rat and dog in combination with his snake and dog. There is nothing conflicting here. They are copacetic, happy. I mean, there is real, genuine, mutual attraction, connection, friendship. This was beyond anything else, a love affair rooted in a friendship. And that's beautiful. So looking at that, when we see her chart, it's interesting that she's this yang water person, he's yang earth. So in that, we see that, yes, it's an equal partnership, but elementally, he had domination over her, right? And in that one thing could have been where she retaliated. Yeah. So, interesting that in a lot of ways, this is a story of opposites, right? So, her chart shows balanced water 23%, metal 29%. That's pretty strong. There's no wood, weak fire 13%, and maybe a little less than that. Earth at 38% is strong. So when we look at this, it's not quite a cold, wet chart, right? But the contributing factors in this chart that would suggest something is going wrong is when we're looking at that the day of her death was June 25th, 2009, which was a yin earth ox year, the month of yang metal horse, and the day of yin metal ox, okay? So we know that her month is an ox and her year is a dog. Then we add her luck cycle at that time was a yin wood sheep. So we have sheep, ox, and dog all forming a full punishment. Now this is another affliction that can show up in a chart where the day master, which is you, becomes so weak because of stress. And usually the stress is by something going on in the family. It can be stress that's from your personal relationship, your romantic relationship. It can be stress from your kids. It can be stress of caring for elder parents. I mean, let's face it, family can be one of the biggest challenges of our lives, right? All right, so she's got this punishment that is satisfied by this luck cycle, and she was in a void period of her life. And we add to that she has the month that she died, which was fiery. That fiery horse banged up against her day animal of the rat. And that's a pretty harsh conflict, the horse and the rat. That is fire putting out water, and she's a water person. Then we add to that her luck cycle, which started in 2006, so 3 years into that luck cycle, this harm of the sheep to her rat, again, that is her day animal, which is when you have a conflict coming at your day animal, it is pretty severe. And it can disrupt your romantic relationship, and it can totally affect your well-being, your health. So that harm of her rat and the sheep also weakened her water. So when we look at these two people, there are enough contributing factors pulling at them. So her pattern might have been earth, but her day master element of water in this situation with a conflict, a harm, and a full punishment. It's too much. And, you know, I wanted to mention these two because of Ryan O'Neal's death, but also because it's very interesting to see the ways that our charts are impacted by the fluctuations of our luck cycles and our annual year. And I'm going to end this by saying, again, this is the best time of year to get your your Bazi Astrology chart read. Because at this point, right, a couple months before the new year begins, is when we can look at what is my year ahead. And if you order the written chart, which is a little more expensive, you get your forecast for 2024, including a month by month forecast as an extra bonus. So take advantage of that for sure, my friends. And again, click subscribe. Hope to see you again soon. And until then, be well.